my ladies and pretty gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Look What's Happening in the Spirit Realm with yours truly, Light. What I'm hearing today is that somebody is being asked for their loyalty. They're being, in some ways, karmically stalked and demanded when it comes to the people that they believed they were able to control. This is a very interesting energy because God briefly mentioned it to me yesterday, saying, you, collective, may not care about your reputation, but God cares about it more than you can possibly imagine. This goes towards a particular person or a relative. For a lot of you, this is an ex who may have believed that they could kick the dust up in the air, say whatever they needed to say in order to spare their ego, and perhaps even took it a step further and said things that were untrue or downright cruel towards you. When this person did this, they believed they won. But what actually happened was they magnetized towards themselves a ticking time bomb of karmic energies. These karmic energies weren't people that merely supported them. These people were energies that this person was literally a mirror of. When this energy, this ex-relative of yours, tarnished you, they believed that they were going to get support. They believed that they were going to get sympathy on their side. And for a moment, it may appeared like they were getting sympathy and support from the people that flocked to them. But the people that flocked to them were flies. They weren't genuine people, because their pain, their anger, more like, was ill-intended towards you. It wasn't real remorse. It wasn't real grief. It was hatred because somebody lost control of you. For a moment, this is someone who may have had a lot of secret rendezvous, affairs, perhaps for some of you, in the relationship. But none of that was actually questioned. None of that was brought to the table and seen for what it was, especially because the people that were in cahoots with this person really had a vested interest in keeping the dust kicked up towards you and keeping their mouth shut regarding this person's extreme behavior. They didn't have any need to go against this person because they believed that if you were out of the picture, that if they can effectively get you dethroned, diminished, and devalued, that they could take place, that they could take, in fact, your place specifically. Because what they didn't understand was you were in a position of being the group's humiliation dummy. You were in a position of disadvantage. Whatever you got from these people, from these groups, from these relatives, from these friends, or relational community that you had, was always met with an opposite energy of backwards humiliation, gossip, about your effectiveness, about your clarity of mind. It was always met with something that you can't quite see, but that was being done behind your back. This is someone, right? If this is a third party, it's a third party. Like for some of you, it's a sexual third party where this person of yours, if it's a relationship, an ex, was actually the one doing the cheating. But they pretended as though you were the one who was the problem, especially if you had desires to either leave because you were unhappy or because you wanted to expand your business. Whatever it is that you had a desire of, it was always counteracted with this by this person, because they felt like if you were to taste the world without their hand in your batter, so to speak, you would see that they were actually not much. They weren't offering you anything. But that aside, whatever you got from these people, you were the person in the group, in the community, that was like a glue. But a glue that wasn't respected, a glue that wasn't seen as, okay, this is somebody of value, this is somebody that's bringing us 434, as I looked up, communion and resonance and and relations and opportunities. You weren't seen like that, but you were seen as a necessity without being acknowledged as one. This is someone, the third party energy that I'm picking up on, didn't notice this. All they saw was the glitz and the glamour of how people secretly attach themselves to you, desiring something more out of you, but they didn't understand what it felt like for you. They didn't understand that. They wanted to feel important. So what this person is now doing, when I said earlier, with this relationship or this family relative for some of you, or friend for some of you that you were in business with, when this person broke off with you or you left them, or if situations kind of broke down, communication broke down, they wanted relief. They wanted immediate relief because they felt a mountain of guilt, a mountain of shame. Actually, more importantly, there's a distinction between shame and guilt. Shame that came crashing down on them because they were trying to juggle multiple balls in the air, and they believed that you were the piece that was going to remain on the board unmoved, right? Like the king, the king on the board that only had 2 steps and wouldn't really move, right? They thought they were the queen on the board, but really you were, and you picked up, you decided to move. And when you did, this is someone who literally shared their grievances with the community. They shared their grievances, they tarnished you, your reputation, everything, right? They literally dug a grave thinking they were throwing you in the long, dreadful, classic story that has been told since the break of dawn. And what happened is, this is how karma is very interesting. It's a very slow burn because immediately the tables turned against you, right? It seemingly turned against you, where this person was getting support, albeit with people who were slightly suspicious, but they felt like, it's better to believe this person because maybe a lot of the roles that you played were never appreciated. It wasn't something that you were boastful about. So nobody can actually place what you were contributing in that connection, that community, in that business relationship, or plain and simple relationship. So when this happened, this third party energy stepped up and they believed that they were going to get that position that they've been desperately waiting for. For some of you, this is a work competitor, right? This is someone who was competitive, hoping to fill the gap that you were, they believed, not doing much with. So they stepped in, at least they're trying to. They've been trying to get their foot in the door. And they believed that you had your foot in the door. This is what I'm getting. When this person kicked up that dust, that karmic dust, that they believed wouldn't fall on them, they unknowingly attracted an energy that was just as parasitic and obsessed about them as they are about you. That's what happened. That's how God is dealing with this person, because otherwise they're not going to understand the kind of person that they actually are or were to you. They're not going to see it. So what is happening now is that the further away that you've gotten, the more this this relative, this person has been trying not to see what's going on in your life, but they haven't stopped seeing. And what this third party is doing is they're projecting their confusion, their obsession on this person of yours towards you. They're projecting everything towards you. So what's going on is that when this person, this past business partner, relationship partner of yours is out there dealing with random stuff, right? They could be going out there to work. They could be getting their hair done. They could be just traveling to see their family. They could be doing literally anything. And this third party is always on their tail. They're always asking, is this about the collective? Are you talking to the collective? Is this about the collective? What this is actually doing is it's blinding or creating confusion in this person's life. It's creating an inability to make decisions from a grounded and sound-minded place. So this is actually a person that is now being sabotaged by the very people that upheld them in a moment where they were sabotaging you. That's very interesting to me, because that is the best way that this parasite, having a parasite, can understand what being a parasite is like. And for a lot of you, you don't even have any dealings with this person. You don't have any type of harsh feelings. You don't have any types of negative feelings about this person. You don't love or hate them. You truly actually perhaps even meant them well. But they didn't mean you well. They didn't. In some ways, this is an energy that's now praying that things ended in a good way with you. They're praying that they acted the way they want to act now towards you back then, because they're seeing the fact that they are actually bound. They are chained to this karmic web that they've created. And the reason why they're chained is because this third party is hiding secrets for them. This third party is hiding the fact that they were a third party the whole time that they were in bed with you. This person was in bed with you, if this is a relationship especially, that this is somebody that was there hiding their secrets, taking their sadness and absorbing it for them, double timing them, sharing business deals, sharing things, and delaying your life purpose and your life path with this person. For a lot of you, you were supposed to be very successful with this person, especially if this is a business person. You were supposed to be very successful together. You were supposed to see a very flourishing relationship and bond. But they, as themselves, were a very insecure person who didn't know gold when they had it. They were treating you like a pebble. And they got a pebble. They got what a pebble is. They have a pebble with them. And it's kind of sad because I don't even want to say pebble towards anybody. But when you're not matching, when you're not like bonded correctly, it doesn't matter how much you're worth as a person. If you're sticking in a situation that doesn't serve you and your highest purpose, it's always going to clash. You're going to be seen as worthless because God, Spirit, is trying to move you out of that place that you're trying to make yourself fit. And that's what this person is seeing now. They're seeing the fact that when you were with them, they obliged you against your spirit's calling to serve them and their ego desires, while at the same time punishing you, castrating your growth, and telling others that you were an unbearable person, an ungrateful person to exist with, knowing fully that you were actually servicing them, suffering as you serviced them. You were pretty much begging for them to grow with you, and they wouldn't. And they instead use that grievance of yours to justify their personal guilt and shame because of what they were doing behind your back. If this is a business person, they were taking ideas and they were trying to stir multiple pots at the same time. Too many pots. And now the kitchen is on fire to some extent. There's pots burning, everything's messed up. And what this person is doing to them is they're rushing them. They're constantly badgering them. And they're rushing them to make decisions that don't benefit them. Decisions to prove their loyalty. If somebody has to make you prove loyalty to them, you're always going to be in a compromised position. It doesn't matter how good of a person you are. If you're working overtime to prove that your intentions are pure and you're good, that is not a situation you should be in. And that's what this person is in right now. They're constantly trying to prove themselves. And you know why? It's actually true. Because for a lot of you, this is a third party that's now understanding that they are being triangulated spiritually. Because they will never measure up to how this person sees you, because they see you in a perspective that they have blown out of proportion. That is why they're capable of such great hatred and jealousy and parasitism towards you. Because deep down, they have pedestalized you. They pedestalized you from the get-go. You were more talented than them. You were more creative, more authentic, more of this and that and this than them. That's how they saw it. And because of that, they couldn't treat you like a person. They treated you like a property. Like they had to put you in a box, in a lock and key, and throw you in the back of the closet. Right? An outfit that will never be worn. A beautiful gown that's just preserving itself for one day. When I go get the award that I need, I'm gonna put that dress on. Meanwhile, it's collecting dust. Meanwhile, that dress belongs to somebody else. That's what's going on. And now this person is seeing that, and it's funny because they don't even have the courage, the authenticity, and the individual moral code to step up and be true to themselves like you did, even though that was the quality they loved about you and hated about you at the same time. They're having to face a very difficult music made out of clinking pots and pans. This is a very dangerous territory because now this is a karmic that's like, I've been loyal to you. I have been loyal to you. I have hidden things for you. I have done this and that for you. This is a time when this third party is bringing up all the stuff that they did for them. All the stuff that they did for them. I did this for you. I did this for you. They're saying this because they cannot bear the fact that's now sinking in their stomach, the fact that they will actually never take your place because your place is mythical. In this person's world, in this person's life, your place is that of a mythical unicorn creature that will never again be seen. So, how can this person ever fill those shoes that don't even exist in reality? So this energy is now sitting around trying to avoid that deep core truth by what? Being a parasite, being a stalking, preying, absolutely psychotic bonkers character towards this ex-person of yours. And what's happening is, for a lot of you, a lot of things may have cooled off. A lot of weird schemes and praying and craziness may have cooled off because now the swarm that they had chanted to rise, the army of zombies that they had chanted to rise against the collective, has now turned their gaze towards them. Because for a lot of you, this is a person that is slowly growing as a human being for some reason. Because maybe they thought you would come back, or maybe they thought something would get, I don't know what they thought. But they're growing energetically as a person, and it's a very dangerous place that they're growing. They're growing in a place that they're surrounded by sharks. They surrounded themselves because those sharks at one point looked like friends and family. They looked like lovers, secret lovers. They looked like, very business partners. They looked like the best stuff that they can get their hands on because they were trying to prove to themselves that they survived without you, that they are perfectly fine without you. A lot of stuff is about to be brought to the forefronts. It's being brought to the forefronts. But first, for you, dear collective, if you're resonating as the collective and not one of those characters, there's going to be a moment of silence. There's going to be a moment of silence because a lot of the energy has now left your doorstep. And a lot of the energy has left your doorstep. These people that have been pressing against your doorstep have left. They've left because they have to now deal with their reflections. Actual people that are reflecting their specific wonker character. Don't even know if that's a word. Don't care. That they have played towards you. A character that if you were to express to people, they wouldn't believe you. So I'm going to leave you with this. In a sad way, this third party is realizing they're never going to take the place in this person's heart that you did. You know why? Because you never approached this person from a place of gaining something from them. Even though that's the character that they said that you had. You always approach this person, albeit there's always a mistake that we all make. But you approach this person, for the most part, from a place of honesty and innocence and wanting to develop something real. But this is someone who has a problem with forgiving, with letting go, with healing, with taking accountability. They just can't be found to be a real person. And now they're developing into one. Possibly, who knows? But they are risking that development because of fake loyalty. I've always talked about this before. Maybe in TikTok at one point I said, loyalty is a myth. Especially loyalty towards things that you personally don't resonate with morally. That's not loyalty. That's self-sabotage. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Self-sabotage under the guise of being a good person. And what's taking place now is actually blackmail. It's somebody extorting somebody. They're extorting them for drops of love and admiration, drops of access that they're not even satisfied by getting from this person. And in this process, what's actually going to happen is eventually there's going to be a boiling point where if this person had committed crimes against you, they're going to be exposed for it. If this person had defrauded you, stolen ideas, whatever it is that they've done in order to gain upper hand on you, the parasite that has now reflected their behavior towards you is going to eventually lead them to make a decision that goes against stuff that they wanted to keep under lock and key. And the people that believed these people, maybe if they even came out as a new relationship, they're going to see and sniff out the little drops of clues that lead to the reality of not just who you are, but who these people are too, and who even they are for not bothering to mind their business or just have basic moral qualities about them as people. I'm going to just reiterate this from what I wrote on my threads. God didn't like the way this issue was resolved. Even though all you wanted was to move on, reputation or not, God said no. Because even though you might not care, especially because you don't care about your reputation, as long as you have your peace, God cares about it more than you can possibly imagine. And you're about to find out. That's what I'm hearing. Until next time, everyone, I don't reach out. Those are scammers. Everything you need to know is in the description box down below. My book, Sad Girl. Do get it if you have a time. Leave a little review. Honest review. You don't have to say it looks good, it's great. Just tell me what you felt, right? What you feel. My social media platforms are down below. I highly recommend you follow my threads because I'm highly active there. I give bits and pieces of little spiritual downloads. You know what I mean? Basic stuff. Might be a little controversial, just a wee bit. But yeah, thank you for getting my merch. It's down below. I'm also working on a merch that says ladies and pretty gentlemen, based on the recommendation from somebody who commented when I asked you, what should I do? What should I do to get you to get these merches? Anyway, until next time, everyone. Love you.